People often don't realize that public Wi-Fi is incredibly unsecure. In fact, there really is no such thing as wireless security. Wireless
Really?
security is kind of a joke. Yes.
Mm.
People can hack wireless networks pretty easily.
Welcome to another episode of Morris Financial Concepts Podcast. Today, we're talking about cybersecurity and protecting your finances. We have 9 important questions to discuss, so let's dive right in. So first, how can you protect your online banking and financial accounts from hackers?
So there's 2 important ways to protect your online banking and accounts from hackers. The first is be sure that all of your major accounts, your bank accounts, your credit cards, your investment accounts, any accounts where you really have a good bit of money stored away. One, that you do something called hardening your password. You want a completely random password for everything. Everybody always says, I can't remember all my passwords. I can't remember all my passwords. Actually, I don't actually know any of my passwords. Why? Because I use something called a password manager.
Awesome.
All right. Password manager. LastPass is probably the most famous password manager. However, I actually can't recommend LastPass, mainly because it got hacked a lot recently. And it's been hacked a bunch of times. There are others out there. I highly recommend. We will include some links below.
Okay.
For some LastPass, for some other excellent password managers. The second thing you can do is do something called two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication is a way that basically the website on the other end proves that it's you. Not only does the hacker have to have your password, but they also have to have access to your email or maybe your phone. Your phone is actually probably the best place to do two-factor authentication rather than your email.
Yeah.
If a password has access to your email, if a hacker has access to your email, they can basically get at anything.
Yeah, they can be in Taiwan with access to your email.
Exactly.
It's hard. It's much, much harder if they have to have your phone. It's not impossible, but
both your phone and your password. It is possible. It is absolutely possible, but it's much harder and a lot more sophisticated. So these are cybersecurity is all about establishing enough layers of protection around you that it makes you a hard enough target that people ignore you. So you make it too hard for somebody to hack you, they'll go to the next person who's much easier to hack.
So what are the common signs of online scams or phishing attempts?
So there are several ways to recognize a phishing attempt. First, let's go over what a phishing attempt is. A phishing attempt is when somebody sends you an email or a text message, by the way. These can be done through text messages now. And that email says something like, your package wasn't delivered, or you haven't paid your bill, or you have an important message from this person. And they are trying to get you to respond to them or potentially to click a link. You should do neither. Now, how do you know if something's a phishing email? How do you know if something's a phishing email? So there's several clues. First off, try to look at who the message is from.
All That's always the first thing I do. I look
always the first thing, because oftentimes if they're trying to be from your bank account or from UPS or whatever, they won't have ups.com on there. It'll be something crazy like ccp.jp.co or something. It'll say something very strange in their email address. Another way you can recognize it: one, they will likely misspell your name. They may not even use your name. They will likely be some other clues, and read the email very carefully and see if there are any other clues. Misspellings are very common because a lot of hackers are not from this country and don't speak English or write English very well.
Yes.
The third thing, and this takes a little bit of sophistication, is if you take your mouse and you just move that little arrow over that blue hyperlink they're telling you to click, you can gaze at what website they're taking you to. And if the website they're taking you to is the actual website, it might be legitimate. But you know what's best? Don't click on the link anyway. Just go to the website and log into your account from there, like you normally would. If there's an important message from your bank, go to your bank website and log in. Don't bother going through this email to log in. Because
you can there's almost always an inbox on your online account. You could just see the same thing. Right?
And here's the danger. You click on that link, untold number of things can happen. Right? They could put a keylogger on your computer. A keylogger literally keeps track of every key that you ever type on your computer. Right? They could put a Trojan virus on your computer that actually gives them access to your computer or your phone. gives them access to every single text message. You asked me before about how somebody can hack your phone. If you click one of those links on your phone, it can actually install a program on your phone just by clicking that link that says, cool, broadcast all of my text messages to this guy over here.
Gosh.
And then that two-factor authentication goes out the window. So it's really important you not click on those links. If you do happen to click on those links and they ask you for a password, for the love of God, do not enter in a password. Do not enter in your credit card number. Do not enter in a social security number.
Social security number. Oh my gosh, yes, please don't do that.
Ever through one of those links. So that's what phishing scams are. They literally are phishing. It's spelled with a PH, right? It's kind of cute. But they literally are phishing for your information. They're trying to get your information, and they cast their net wide, right? They don't just hitting you; they're hitting thousands of people all at once.
Are there any antivirus or malware or other ways to protect yourself from viruses and stuff like that?
Absolutely. So viruses are the most common virus that I've seen. There's actually two common viruses that I've seen. One is actually something that's pretending to be an antivirus program. Yeah, it's like the most common virus I saw back in this was back in the 2010s. That was the most common virus. There's another one now I'll talk about in a second. But antivirus programs, there's several legitimate ones. McAfee, Norton. Those aren't my favorite though. I actually recommend AVG or Avast. They have free versions, which are great. And
I use Avast. I've used them for years. I'm glad you said that.
Avast is a great version. We used to use it at the office. It used to be our software of choice. Then we switched to cybersecurity providers, etc. But Avast is a great one. There is a free version. Another great version that I actually really dig that can be installed alongside is something called Malwarebytes. I've been using Malwarebytes for years, not only to defend myself against viruses, but also to clean them up if I ever do get bit.
Yeah.
So nice. those are the legitimate virus companies. Now, the other virus that you should be on the lookout for is something called a ransomware virus. And what this does is it starts to lock down files on your computer and encrypt them until until you pay them money. Basically.
Oh gosh,
holding your data.
I didn't realize that's what that was.
that is a ransomware virus. They are a bit scary, unfortunately. And if a ransomware virus got past your antivirus program, there is no great way to solve it. This is why I recommend backing your data up as well as getting an antivirus software. Again, cybersecurity is all about layers. So you have the cybersecurity, you have the virus scanner up front. It's your front line of defense. Norton, McAfee, Avast, AVG, any of those, Google those names. They're very legitimate. Something breaks through and you get bit, then you have to restore from backup. Google offers a great restore function. iCloud, everybody loves iCloud. iCloud has some great backups and restorative functions. So I highly recommend backing up your data to the cloud.
That's good advice. That definitely have a last resort, but it's better to have it than lose it all. That's for sure. Exactly. I've had hard drives fail back in the day when there was no cloud anything, and now I don't think about it because most of it's somewhere on the cloud, at least some sort of copy of it.
Exactly.
But I'm even getting into now, like backing it up and storing it.
It still makes a difference. I actually use OneDrive and a program called, we at the office use a program called ShareFile and SharePoint. We use those three things to back up all of our data.
Oh, that's smart.
That way there's no, if a hard drive fails, which they do, there's very little.
They fail all the time.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's not even viruses. That's not even cybersecurity. That's just hardware going kaput.
Yeah,
and that happens a lot.
People don't realize how common that is. I think.
It really is. It really is.
Should I enable two-factor authentication on my online accounts? And how does that work?
The main accounts that I would enable two-factor authentication on, again, your bank accounts, credit cards, your investment accounts. Those are the big three.
Yeah, your money.
The other big one, probably the biggest one, is your email. Be sure to harden it as much as possible to get into your email. Your email is the softest spot in your personal cybersecurity protection. Hacker gets into your email, they have access to a lot of stuff. Every single time you've ever sent out any personal information, your social security number, maybe you sent your W-2 to your accountant. Don't send your W-2 to your accountant. Not like that anyway. There's other methods to do it.
Yeah.
Oh God, don't send your W-2 to your account. Every time They have access to your email. They have access to a whole lot more than just your email.
That's good
So,
advice. I think a lot of people don't have that two-factor authentication on your email because you have to, you're going into it all the time. So you
you
want
go
to,
into it all the time. And yes, you absolutely need it on your email.
Hmm.
Other than that, I think you have to prioritize your accounts in terms of their risk level.
oh, I see what you're saying.
Right. If I have an account on boardgamegeek.com. I'm a huge board game geek.
Yeah.
I really don't care if the hacker that hacks my Board Game Geek password knows that I have 50 board games.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
I really don't care. In fact, I actually know the password to that one, and it's actually been hacked before, and I don't care because
Really?
no, it's by Board Game Geek, man. Like, who cares? Like, let the hacker have it. Sure, they can see I have 50 board games, then I'm a board gamer. Whatever.
Yeah,
I don't care. What are they gonna do with that information?
that's true. That makes sense.
So that's a low risk in my mind. Amazon.com, however, doesn't necessarily have my credit card information, but has my credit cards saved.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's a more of a medium risk, right?
Yeah, because
And of
they'd have
course,
to buy it and then ship it to their location, which has happened. I've heard people
yeah.
have that happen, like,
Oh, yeah. Now,
which is
fortunately,
so bold because it's a record of where they sent it. Like, I mean, but people still do it. It's amazing.
yes. Fortunately, credit cards are more forgiving when it comes to fraud, and they're actually very good at sometimes at detecting it. But nevertheless, I rank my sites according to risk level. The more at-risk sites, I believe that those are the ones I would enable two-factor on. I'm not going to enable two-factor on my Amazon. I am going to harden my password on my Amazon. I don't know the password to my Amazon. It's completely random. My
That
password
makes
manager
sense.
knows it, but I do not know it.
Yeah. How can I dispose of sensitive financial documents and statements?
I personally use a shredding service.
Hmm.
And we at the office also have a shredding service that we actually allow our clients to use. Sometimes your financial advisor will do this.
Wow.
I bring documents to I actually have a stack of documents and I bring them to my shredding service and they shred them all at once for you. Don't sit there and do it on Saturdays and just feel like, unless you really like doing it.
Yeah.
Highly recommend shredding documents. You only really need to keep documents tax-wise for about 3 years. There are occasions when you need to keep
Really? I didn't know
yeah,
that.
absolutely. There are occasions when you need to keep them for more than 7.
Mm-hmm.
But those circumstances are few and far between. So if you have documents older than 7 years old and they're just taking up space in your house,
I certainly do. That's
rid
great
of those.
advice.
Get rid of those, but get rid of them safely. Shredding services are the way to go.
Oh, good. I have a little fire pit too. That works, right?
That also is very nice. Yes, fire pits are great. Yeah,
It's
some
just fun.
marshmallows.
The kids
right?
like it.
It's great.
What precautions should I take when using public Wi-Fi and doing online banking?
Very good. This is a good one. People often don't realize that public Wi-Fi is incredibly unsecure. In fact, there really is no such thing as wireless security. Wireless security is kind of a joke. Yes.
Mm.
People can hack wireless networks pretty easily. So be very wary of public Wi-Fi. What you need to do, there's something called a VPN.
Mm-hmm.
And you can set up a personal VPN that routes all of your traffic from a different spot on the internet, so it doesn't look like you're coming from the public Wi-Fi. The public Wi-Fi will only receive encrypted information. The problem with public Wi-Fi is all of your information is completely unencrypted. Usually,
Yes,
it's just floating out there for anybody who knows how to sniff it can sniff it out. And there are wireless sniffers out there. They're literally software that actually sniff out Wi-Fi messages and such. And so if you're just logging into websites using public Wi-Fi, really bad idea. Secure yourself with something called a personal VPN. It's very Googleable. There's lots of very simple softwares to install.
Yeah, I use a Vast VPN because I get like the 5 licenses because
exactly
device
Vast has, again, this is why Vast has a great piece of software.
Because I find the time I find myself, I've usually never used public Wi-Fi, but when I'm traveling for business, I'm at a hotel. That's the moment that I have to think about all of that.
Yes, usually
I have to work, I have to get stuff done, but I have to use their Wi-Fi.
Exactly. I can't really imagine the times that I've gone into Starbucks and been like, oh, let me log in my bank account while I'm at Starbucks.
Yeah, like why do you have to do that? Now, is it safer if you kind of need to? Would it be safer to just do it with your phone and use the cellular network? Like, what is the difference?
There are VPNs for your cell. You can get a VPN for your cell.
But is it inherently a
Oh,
little safer just because it's not
yes,
public?
the cellular network's fine. The cellular network's fine. I
Okay.
still recommend a VPN whenever
Yeah,
you can. But yes, if you're connected to a Wi-Fi, that's where it really gets to be a problem.
that makes sense. Yeah, a lot of people in big apartment complexes, I think, will look for unsecure networks and just kind of log in too. I've seen
Oh,
that.
yes, absolutely. Yeah, and that's why there's Wi-Fi security is a joke. Wi-Fi security, again, what it does is it's a door. It's a slightly locked door, not a deadbolted door, but a slightly locked door that's
Mm,
very easy to put a crowbar into. Or
yeah.
maybe it's even a door with a window, and you can just smash through the window. And that's how I picture it, right?
Oh gosh.
It does mean that somebody actually has to put up the effort to smash through the window, but it's not very difficult to
This
break.
makes me feel good because I'm still old school with my work. Like I use a desktop, I plug it into the wall. Like when I built the house, I had them make sure all the rooms I cared about had a plug.
Yeah. Oh,
Just in
absolutely.
case.
My house is completely wired too. I don't like stuff going out over the air. Old
Yeah,
school.
well, at least there's people like us still out there.
That's right. That's right.
How often should I review my credit report and where can I get free copies of it?
Got you. So you can get a free copy of your credit report for annualcreditreport.com.
Okay.
It's a great website, doesn't charge you a thing, don't collect personal data, etc. I personally enjoy, though, subscribing to either the actual credit unions themselves, right? Or not
Mhm.
credit unions, credit agencies themselves,
Yes.
like Equifax or Experian, etc.
I didn't know
I
you could
actually
even do
enjoy
that either.
paying for a service, though, that brings it all together, sends me a monthly alert. I like to check in with it monthly. I get a monthly alert that says, hey, your new credit report's available from all three agencies. I go to one place, log in. It's only
Mhm.
$20 a month. I mean,
Yes.
that's my Hulu subscription or my Netflix subscription. It's really not that bad.
That's lunch
And
that I just had.
lunch that you
You
just had,
can't
which,
get
by the way,
lunch for less than $20 now.
this will save you a lot more than $20 a month if
Yeah.
somebody breaks into your credit and opens a new account. Or actually, one time for me, it wasn't even a cybersecurity problem. It was just I forgot to pay a bill. I opened up a silly credit card at one of those Firestone places and
Mm,
put my tires on there and didn't remember that I put my tires on there, didn't
yes.
pay it. And then my credit score tanked one month, and I was like, "Why did my credit? Oh, there it is. Whoops. Sorry, my bad, guys. Oh, ooh, here, it's paid. My bad, right?" And I wouldn't have known that without credit monitoring, a credit
That's
monitoring
true.
service,
I
right? So
like
it
to,
doesn't even.
if I'm doing a big transaction, like a house or car, whatever, I definitely review it before that. So
Oh, yes,
just to be
absolutely,
armed with the knowledge before I start talking to lenders. Like I at least
absolutely,
know what's going
absolutely.
on.
But yes,
A
those
lot of
credit
them
agencies
also have identity protection. I've noticed those
built
plans.
in.
Those kind of go hand in hand in your mind.
They do. They do. There should any credit monitoring service that you have should have something called dark web monitoring, and the dark web is
Mm,
a seedy place on the internet where criminals know how to go
yes.
and trade around personal information, usually passwords, addresses connected with people, health information, etc. They actually have a dark web monitor for your email addresses and your passwords and your bank accounts and that kind of thing, and say, hey, these services have actually been hacked before. You should consider hardening your password on these websites, kind of thing. Uh,
Interesting.
yeah, a lot of those places will have some dark web monitoring services, so you should be on the lookout for that.
Why is email a bad form to send sensitive data? And what else should I use instead?
Gotcha. So email is the worst to send sensitive data because
Hmm.
it goes over the internet basically unencrypted, and when it arrives, it's in two places now. So for one, I remember that the example I used before, you take that W-2 that your employer sent you in what's called a PDF, right? And you
Yeah.
say, oh, this W-2, my accountant needs that. Let me forward that PDF onto there. Well, keep in mind what that W-2 has on it. The W-2 has your name, your social, your employer's address, your address, how much money you made, all kinds of great details about you are contained in that W-2.
Yeah.
Now that you've sent that W-2 to your accountant, it's in your sent box where it will stay for all time until you delete it.
Hmm.
How many people go through their sent box and delete stuff?
Exactly.
Many that I know. So it's going to be there. Hacker gets into your inbox. Let me start combing through this. Look for some data. Oh, look, there's his W-2. It's right there. Got a social.
Wow.
All downhill from there. So email is a terrible way to send things. there's much better ways to send things. For one, most people that are requesting sensitive information for you, financial advisors, bankers, lawyers, etc., usually will give you some kind of secure way to send it back to them. Use that secure method. Learn how to use it. It's a really important method to learn to figure out. So that's the best method, I think, to send something secure to the internet. Otherwise, seriously, just go drop it off. I would not trust
Literally just go drop it off.
just go drop it off, man. You can't hack your car, right? If assuming they're local. If they're not local, you need a secure way to send it up. If the organization that you're working with does not have a secure way to upload information, go find a different organization.
Yeah. Well, let's say you've been using email this way for many years. Do you know of any programs to clean it up, to at least make it so the data is not just sitting on the server?
That's a great question. And no, I don't. I bet you there are programs that are out there that do that, though. There is actually, we use a program here at work, something called data loss prevention. It actually prevents my employees from sending out sensitive information accidentally.
Yep.
It'll actually tell the employee, hey, by the way, this looks like a social security number. Are you sure you want to send this? And they actually have to hit override. And sometimes it literally won't let them send it at all if it's sensitive. The Social Security is actually the perfect example. If it knows it says social security number, it will not let them send it.
Well, that's a great idea if you have employees. Absolutely.
Yeah, we use something like that. So I almost assuredly there is the reverse of that, where let's go find the times where you had. I don't know of any software I can recommend off the top of my head, though.
Thank you for joining us on this episode focused on cybersecurity and financial safety. Remember, staying informed and cautious is your best defense. Tune in next time for some more valuable insights.